Hi guys, this is going to be the tutorial that's going to show you how to make this thick mesh beanie. And I have this in Slouch Hat. If you want to check that video out, you can just look up Thick Mesh Slouch Hat. This hat, I'm going to be showing you how to make it in a few different sizes: baby, child, and teen and adult. So what you need for this project is worst weight yarn, and which is 4 ply for the US, 10 ply for Australia. Also, you're going to need a 5mm hook. Size H for the US, and this kind of yarn that I used here is this Elise Burkham. I think it's going to be backwards, no matter how I do it. It's Elise Burkham Baltic, and maybe you can find this online. The color lot number that I have is, it says 3366, and then the other number, the lot number is 702944. So if you're interested in that, this was 100 grams, 3.53 ounces, and 210 meters, or 230 yards. And it's made in Turkey. So if you want to look for that, there's numbers that you need. So, and I used less than a skein of this, but almost a full skein. This stitch is pretty tight. It's tight in the way because you'll be working it 2 rows down, and I'll show you how to do that. So first off, let's go ahead and grab our yarn and our hook, and we'll get started. Oh, also the multiples of this stitch is 2. So if you want to adjust the sizing or whatever, just keep in mind it takes 2 stitches. Okay, for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm using a little bit thicker yarn in hopes that you can see the stitches better. So what you want to do is go ahead and begin by chaining 3. We're going to be doing our increase rounds. You want to slip stitch in the beginning chain to form a ring. For round 1, you'll be chaining 2, and then you'll work 11 double crochets in the ring that you just made. The chain 2 at the beginning does count as a stitch, so at the end of this round you'll have 12 stitches. Okay, when you get to the end of your round, you want to slip stitch in the top of the chain 2. Sorry for the noise outside if you can hear that. Okay, so for round 2, you want to chain 2, and you'll be double crocheting right into that same stitch to create your first increase. Now you want to work 2 double crochets in each stitch around. You're doubling your stitches this round. So you had 12 stitches last round, and this round you're going to have 24 stitches. Work 1 double crochet in each stitch around. Okay, at the end of round 2, don't forget to count your stitches. Make sure you have 24, and when you do, slip stitch in the top at the beginning chain 2 to end your round. So for round 3, you'll chain 2, and then you will do a double, you'll put 2 double crochets in the next stitch. So you do chain 2, and then in the next stitch put 2 double crochets. And then the pattern will repeat: 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then 2 double crochets in the next stitch, then 1 double crochet in the next, and then 2 double crochets for your increase in the next. And you'll repeat this all the way around, putting 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, all the way around. And at the end of this round, you should have 36 stitches. Okay, at the end of the round, you should have 36 stitches, and you're done with the baby size, and you can move on to the stitch portion of this tutorial. The rest of you stay with me. When you get done with the round, you want to slip stitch in the beginning the top of the chain 2. Now for round 4, you want to chain 2 and then double crochet, chain 2 and then you want to double crochet, yes, double crochet in the next stitch. So you'll have the chain 2, which counts as a double crochet, and then double crochet in the next stitch. And then in the next stitch, you want to put 2 double crochets. Then in the next stitch, you'll be putting 1 double crochet, and then the next stitch you'll put 1 double crochet. So you'll have 2 single double crochets before your increase. So put 2 double crochets into the next stitch. Then the next stitch, you want to put a double crochet, and then the next stitch you'll put a double crochet, and then you'll do your increase. And this is what you'll repeat for the rest of this round. 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, then 2 double crochets in the same stitch. So repeat that all the way around, and when you get to the end of the round, you should have 48 stitches. Okay, when you get to the end of round 4, you want to slip stitch in the top of the beginning chain 2. Make sure you count your stitches and that you have 48 stitches. And if you're making a toddler or child size hat, you're done increasing, and you can move to the stitch portion of this video. Now for adult size, you want to go ahead and increase 1 more round. So we're going to do a chain of 2, and then we're going to put 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So the chain 2 counts as a double crochet, so we're going to have, this counts as 1 double crochet worked in each stitch, and then we'll do an increase by putting 2 double crochets in the same stitch. Then we'll repeat that again, 1 double crochet worked in the next 3 stitches, and then you'll do your increase of 2 double crochets worked in the next stitch. So you repeat that for the round, putting 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then you'll increase by putting 2 double crochets in the next stitch. And at the end of this round, you should have 60 stitches. Okay, when you get to the end of your round, be sure to count your stitches. Make sure that you have 60, and slip stitch in the top of the beginning chain 2. Now we've made it to the stitch portion of the video. For the adults, it's round 6, and of course for the others it's different. So I'm just going to say for the next round, that way I don't confuse. So for this next round, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to, in this same beginning stitch, put a double crochet. Then you want to chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and in the next put a double crochet, and then chain 1. It's going to be double crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, and in the next stitch you want to put double crochet, chain 1, and you repeat this all the way around. Skip the next stitch, and then the next you'll put a double crochet, chain 1. So continue that all the way around. Skip a stitch, double crochet, chain 1, and I'll see you back here when you get done. Okay, when you reach the end of your round, after your last double crochet, there's no need to chain 1. What you want to do is come to your very first, where you did your chain 1 and your double crochet at the beginning of the round, and slip stitch in this beginning double crochet. And by slip stitching, you're forming that chain that will be here. That's why you don't chain at the end of the row. Now for your next row, you're going to start off chaining 3, and last round we did double crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch. Now these stitches that we skipped here are the ones we're going to be working in this round. So you're going to be putting your double crochets in this stitch. So you're going to do exactly what you did last round. You're going to be doing a double crochet, chain, and skip a stitch, but the stitch will be the double crochets, and you're going to be working in the skip stitches. So I'm going to my first skip stitch, 1 row down, and doing a double crochet, and then chain 1. Then again, find your next skip stitch and work your double crochet, and then chain 1. Move to the next skip stitch, work your double crochet, and chain 1. And you're going to repeat this all the way around. So continue this all the way around, and I'll see you when you get done. Okay, make sure that you do your last double crochet. Let me back up a second here. This is the end, but remember, we have one more stitch right here before the end, so just don't forget to put your last double crochet there. And again, last double crochet of the round, no need to chain 1. Just find the the chain 3 here we did. The 2 first chains counts as the double crochet, and the 3rd chain counts as the chain 1 in between. So you're going to find the 2nd chain, which is the middle chain of the 3, and slip stitch there. Now for the next round, again, chain 3, which counts as your first double crochet, and chain 1. And you're going to be using the space beside the double crochet from last round. And this will always be the stitch you're going to be looking for the rest of the time when doing this hat. So you're always going to be looking for the double crochet you did last round, and beside it, it will be, I guess, to the right of it, just because it's so much easier to do it from the right of it, and it will also cause it to do a diagonal. I think if you're left-handed, it may actually be to the left of it. So I guess if you're right-handed, it'll be on the right, and if you're left-handed, it'll be on the left. But this double crochet that you just did, there will be a space next to it, the small open space here. So always find the double crochet from last round, and you'll have a little space beside it. This is the stitch that we went in last round. Remember, we did our double crochet, skip 1, double crochet, skip 1, and then we worked in last round the double crochet in that skip stitch that we did previously. Well, these little spaces here is just a little bit, it's 1 up from that one. It's like right next to it. It's actually on the same row. So this is I'm trying to show you the best I can. This is the very first round of double crochets. And then this is the second round that we just did. You can see this is the first round, this is the second round. And then this is also part of that same round. It's just the spaces between the first round of double crochets and our second round of double crochets. It's just that space in between. So again, we're kind of working with the same exact row we did last time, but now we're going to be working in the spaces between the double crochet from the first round and the double crochet from our second round. We're going to be putting something in between, but just make sure that you go into the right side of it if you're right-handed, or left side if you're left-handed. So after you chain 3, yarn over, because you're still doing double crochets, and you're going to find that space here in between the 2 double crochets, and you're going to put a double crochet there. Do double crochet, chain 1. Then again, this is that same row, so double crochet from one round, double crochet from last round. In between here is a stitch, a space, you'll be doing your double crochets there. Again, you can just easily find this double crochet here because it's longer. So I always say find it, then find that little space beside it and put your double crochet into it. Double crochet, chain 1. Again, find that double crochet from last round, find the little space beside it, and work your double crochet, chain 1. After you do it for a while, you'll get the hang of it and you'll be able to recognize it. Just take your time. You're still working within that same row. All 3 of these rows so far have all been working along this first row. So continue this all the way around, and I'll see you when you get to the end of the round. Okay, when you get done, again, don't forget you have this last row and you have your double crochet. Oops, I chained 1 out of habit. You don't want to chain 1 after the last double crochet of the round. Again, the chain 3 at the beginning. You want to find the chain 2, which is the middle chain of the 3, to slip stitch into. And then you'll chain 3 again to start your next round. And again, you'll find that stitch, very last double crochet that you did, 1 row down, and again you'll have that little space in between. So now you can see, it's harder to see here, but you can see you have 1 double crochet here, 1 double crochet here, and it's going to continue like that diagonally all the way down. This stitch is worked diagonally. So you're going to always be using, again, the stitch, small stitch next the space in between, next to the last double crochet row that you've done. There'll always be a space to the right of it. So all you got to do is find that last double crochet that you've done, and you can find that space right beside it. And that's how you'll do row after row after row. So for a total of 9 rounds, no matter what your size that you're doing right now to this point, you want to do 9 rounds of this stitch more. So you've done this, you're about to start your next round. You want to do 9 rounds now, starting now. So remember that you've already done 2 here. All sizes, go ahead and do 9 more rounds. If you feel like you need to add more, go ahead. If you feel like that it's a good size, that's great. And there's lots of different sizing charts that you can go by measuring from the top first round all the way to the last round work to see if it's the correct size that you need. But I'm going to go ahead and say for all rounds, for all sizes, go ahead and just do 9 more rounds for a total of 11 rounds. Okay, when you've got done with your 9 rounds, for the purposes of this tutorial, I just did 1 more round. Remember, don't double crochet. Don't chain after your last double crochet. You'll just again find that beginning chain 3 and slip stitch in the second chain before chaining 3 again and repeating your next round. When you've got all your rounds done and you're ready to move on to finish your hat, you're going to be doing the same thing that you were doing before. The only difference is you're going to be doing single crochets instead of double crochets. So for this round, you're going to be chaining 2. You need to add that. You're going to be chaining 2, 1, 2. And then in the stitch here where you would normally, where is it? Oh, here. Where you would normally be putting your double crochet, you're going to now be putting your single crochet. So again, another tip to help you find the right stitch is you can also count these 2 rows. You can see the 2 rows, 1 and 2. This is the last round that you've done. This is the next row down. So that's another way you can find your beginning stitch, because it's pretty much the hardest thing to find is your first stitch. Once you've got that, then you can do the rest of the round pretty easily. You can also go off the diagonal of your stitches and how they're going, because it'll also be a guide showing you that this is the last stitch done. You need to work in the stitch beside it. So this round, instead of doing double crochet, we're going to be doing single crochet. So you don't yarn over, you just go right into that stitch and do a single crochet. Chain 1. Find the next stitch you're supposed to go in, single crochet, chain 1. You're just doing exactly what you did before. The only difference is that you're using single crochets instead of double crochets. And by doing that, you're going to have a flatter row. See how it's ending? You still got the same look underneath, but it's flattening this out now. So continue this all the way around, and I'll see you when you get done. Okay, at the end of your round, again, no need to chain 1. Remember at the very beginning, we chained 2. 1 counts as a single crochet, and then 1 counts as the chain 1. I'm going to find that very first chain and just slip stitch into that chain to end your round. Now for this next round, now that we got our round all flat and everything, again, sorry for this noise outside. I cannot wait till this construction's over. So now we're going to chain 2, which will count as our first double crochet. And now for every stitch around, you want to put a double crochet. So how many, and don't forget about the chain too. It's very difficult to see. I wonder if I skipped it here. No. So do a double crochet in this stitch. Then in the chain here, put a double crochet. The stitches are very easy to find to put a double crochet in, but the chain is kind of hard to put it in. Ah, that noise. Anyway, put a double crochet in each stitch around whatever row you stopped increasing on in your final amount stitches that you had, 36, 48. You should have that at the end of this round. Okay, at the end of the round, find the beginning chain 2 and put your slip stitch in the top of the chain 2. Now for your next round of the rim, you're going to chain 2. Now you wanted to work a front post double crochet on this chain 2 from last round. So you're going to yarn over, because you're going to be doing a double crochet. You're going to grab up that chain 2, the post, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then do your double crochet. Now the next stitch, you're going to be working a back post double crochet. So you're going to come in from the back, push that post backwards. See, now you have it back here, and you're going to grab your yarn, pull up a loop, and then do your double crochet. And then you're going to keep alternating that. You'll be doing a front post double crochet, and then a back post double crochet. Front post double crochet, and then back post double crochet. You want to continue this all the way around, and I'll see you when you get back up to the end. Okay, when you get to the end of your round, I just ended with the back post. In the very first stitch here is a front post. It should continue on front, back. You want to slip stitch in the top of the front post double crochet. Now you want to chain 2, and now you're going to be working on the front post again and working a front post double crochet onto it. And then your next stitch, which was a back post double crochet last round, you want to do a back post double crochet on it again. So you'll come up, push that post back, and work your double crochet on the post. Then a front post again on the front post, and then a back post worked on the back post double crochet. You're going to continue this around for this row, and then I would go ahead and do one more row. I did mine here for a total of 4 rows. So we've just done, actually I did it for 3 rows, because this very first double crochet row is just that. It's just double crochet. It just got pulled up because we did a front post on it. So this row that we're doing now looks like the 3rd row of front post double crochets. So anyway, do this row that we're doing right now, and then do one more, and you'll get this look here. It's a ribbed look. And then when you get done with the end of your row, again, you want to slip stitch in the front post double crochet, and then chain 1 and cut your yarn, leaving a little tail so that you can work it in with the tapestry needle. At least that's my preferred method, but this is my tutorial yarn, so I can't cut it. But that is it. That is how you make the thick mesh beanie. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please don't forget to click that like button to show your support. And also, if you're a first-time watcher or you haven't got a chance to subscribe yet, please take a moment to do that. Also, you can find links to me on Facebook, Twitter, all the social media that I'm on, Instagram, and all that. And all the links are below the video. And that's it. Thank you so very much for watching.